Ah, look at the top of his head.
I feel that many people underestimate just how important Grand Theft Auto 3 was to video game history. Not only did it bring worldwide fame to both the franchise that it's in, and the studio that created it, but it also gave birth to a new genre of video games, the open world genre. The game might seem primitive now, when compared to modern day games, but back in 2001, this was considered revolutionary. This was one of the first big games to come out during the 6th generation of gaming, and I'd say that this game alone would have been enough proof that the next generation of gaming systems would be much stronger than the PS1 and N64. You look at the first two GTA games, and compare them to GTA 3, and it's amazing to think that they even came from the same franchise, and that this massive upgrade only occurred in such a small time frame. I think it's safe to say GTA 3 practically started the open world genre of games. Name a notable open world video game that came out before GTA 3. Yeah, that's what I thought. Grand Theft Auto 3 revolutionized open world games, in the same way Street Fighter 2 revolutionized fighting games, and in the same way Doom revolutionized first-person shooters. Many games owe their entire existence to GTA 3. Minecraft would not exist without GTA 3. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom would both not exist without GTA 3. Elden Ring would not exist without GTA 3. Literally every single video game that you see on screen right now would not exist if GTA 3 was never made, or if GTA 3 stayed with the top-down 2D perspective that the earlier GTA games had. On the other hand though, Genshin Impact wouldn't exist without GTA 3, so maybe it would be for the better if GTA 3 didn't exist after all. Note to self: when I finish making this video, go back in time, and try to stop GTA 3 from being made. I would be doing humanity a huge favor. Okay, but seriously, GTA 3 is a massively important video game, and while I definitely wouldn't call it underrated, I still think it should get more recognition for what it has done to gaming history, especially given how it spawned two sequels that further improved the formula that it started. Grand Theft Auto Vice City, in 2002, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, in 2004, thus forming a trilogy of sorts. The three games have gone on to become some of the most important games of the 2000s decade, and are considered an essential part of pop culture from that decade. But you already knew that. Let's fast forward a bit in time. The year is 2011. Justin Bieber and Twilight are both cool to hate on. A talking orange and a kid with a high-pitched voice are both considered peak comedy, and Party Rock Anthem is the biggest song in the world. Life is good. Life is really good, and it would only get better, as in October of that year, Grand Theft Auto 3 would turn 10 years old. A full decade had passed since both the birth of the open world game genre, and GTA's much-deserved rise in popularity. To celebrate the anniversary, Rockstar would release a mobile port of the game, as well as a limited edition action figure of Claude, the protagonist of the game. The mobile port of the game would turn out to be surprisingly pretty good. Even though the game is fairly primitive compared to later open world games, it's still pretty big for mobile phones, so it's quite impressive that they were able to port the game onto them, and not produce disastrous results. 1 year later, in 2012, Rockstar celebrated the 10th anniversary of GTA 3's follow-up, Vice City, with another mobile port. Again, the results were surprisingly good. 1 year later again, in 2013, Rockstar would release a mobile port of the third game in the trilogy, San Andreas. Things would be a bit different for this game though, as later in 2014, the mobile version of San Andreas would get ported onto the Xbox 360 and PS3, with physical releases coming out in 2015. I take it Rockstar didn't get the memo that by 2014, and especially 2015, both the Xbox 360 and PS3 were long obsolete. But that's beside the point. Although the mobile port would turn out mostly okay, the console remasters of the game would turn out to be very bad. For one thing, the graphics on the console remasters look terrible. The mobile ports graphics do look pretty good, especially given the limitations that a mobile phone has. But the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions somehow look even worse than the original PS2 and Xbox versions of the game. The character models all have this shiny look to them, and it just doesn't look good at all. I get that the console versions were released onto 7th gen systems, but still, they look terrible, and they get even worse when you remember that these remasters came out in 2014/2015. These came out long after the 7th generation of gaming was actually relevant. I wasn't expecting graphics on par with GTA 5 or anything like that, but these graphics could have still looked a lot better. Also, even though I brought up the mobile port as not being that awful, as you can see in this gameplay footage, the mobile version of the game suffers from lag. This is understandable, since San Andreas is a significantly bigger game than both GTA 3 and Vice City, and this lag is not present in the 7th gen versions, but I still think that this is worth bringing up. I also think it is very pathetic that they took the mobile version of the game, and ported it onto gaming systems that were, at the time, long irrelevant, when they should have just remastered San Andreas from the ground up for the Xbox 360 and PS3, and also release them on the actually relevant at the time Xbox One and PS4, but that's beside the point. The main thing that I wish to talk about are the large amount of graphical bugs and glitches found in the console versions of the game. Clouds in the sky will change position if you move the camera, the radar on the bottom left will sometimes not load properly, and perhaps most baffling of all, if CJ is holding a weapon, and is standing in front of a car window, the weapon will be invisible. There's a lot of stuff to talk about regarding this version of the game, and I'd rather get to the main subject already, which is why I recommend you watch Vadim's 2 videos on why this version of the game is awful. Links will be in the description below. With all that said, let's get on to the main topic. The mobile ports of the Trilogy, and the console remasters of San Andreas, would all be done by a studio known as War Drum Studios. Keep that in mind, as it will be very important later on into the video. Let us fast forward into the future once again. The year is 2021. Life is not good, but you already knew that. No need to repeat what everyone went through in 2021. On May 18th of that year though, Rockstar would release an article on their website. Most of it is boring garbage relating to GTA Online and the at the time unreleased 9th gen ports of GTA 5. But there's a small message included at the end of the article that captured the attention of many Rockstar fans, myself included. Plus, in honor of the upcoming 20th anniversary of the genre-defining Grand Theft Auto 3, we'll have even more fun surprises to share, including some specifically for GTA Online. Now, the fact that they stated only some of the surprises would be related to GTA Online made people curious as to what they would do for GTA 3's 20th anniversary that wasn't related to GTA Online. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be until October, where they would finally reveal what they planned to do for the anniversary. Yes, you heard me right. Rather than do the logical thing, and hype up GTA 3's 20th anniversary until the big day finally arrived, Rockstar would be completely silent about it, giving us the same GTA Online trash, and even giving us an atrocious trailer for GTA 5's 9th gen ports, without any remote mention of the anniversary. And then, in what feels like a rushed, last-second thing, they announced what the fun surprises would be only a few days before the anniversary occurred, and then once mid-November rolled around, they abruptly ended the anniversary, and went back to posting GTA Online stuff yet again, treating it as if GTA 3's 20th anniversary never even happened. Given how it turned out though, I don't blame them for pretending it never happened. October 8th, 2021, will be a day that will live on in infamy within the Rockstar community. That would be the day where Rockstar finally announced what they would do for GTA 3's 20th anniversary. A small teaser trailer would be released for a game called Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. Wow, what a name. I take it Rockstar attended the Kingdom Hearts school of giving remaster compilations obnoxiously long names for literally no reason. The teaser was very short, and didn't show any gameplay footage, but regardless, everyone was absolutely hyped for the game. We all thought that Rockstar would deliver disappointment for the anniversary, so we were pleasantly surprised when this teaser came out. Oh, if only we knew what was to come. And then, on October 23rd, on the 20th anniversary of GTA 3, Rockstar released another trailer, this time showing off the graphics of the game, and the results were, very mixed to say the least. There were some instances where the graphics looked pretty good, and other instances where the graphics looked really bad, but that didn't matter. We were excited to play these classics on modern day gaming systems. Speaking of which, among the various gaming systems that the game would be released on, was none other than the Nintendo Switch. This was a big deal, as prior to this, we only had 4 GTA games on Nintendo systems. The very obscure Game Boy Color ports for GTA 1 and GTA 2, GTA Advance for the Game Boy Advance, and the Nintendo DS version of GTA Chinatown Wars. Now, as someone that has always wanted to play a mainline GTA game on a Nintendo system, this was a big thing for me, and right then and there, I immediately knew what I wanted to get for Christmas 2021. I have never been more grateful for deciding not to buy a game, and I feel deeply sorry for anyone that received this atrocity for Christmas, which means it's time for me to talk about the big plot twist that this video has. Despite making an entire video hating on this game, I have never played it. In fact, I refuse to even play the game. You might ask why I'm making a negative review of a game that I've never played, and refuse to play, and to that I say, sometimes, you don't need to look inside of a dumpster to know that there's garbage inside of it. That's all I will say. It also helps tremendously that these are 3 awful versions of 3 already existing games, and not 3 original awful games. Which brings me to my next point. When this trailer was released, it was also announced that the original versions of the trilogy would all be removed from both Steam and the App Store, which sparked a huge backlash from the Rockstar community. A backlash that would grow even stronger once the game actually came out. Gaming preservation is something that has gotten a lot more attention over the last few years, and this was seen as a major blow against that. If they were gonna remove the original versions of these games, then these remasters had better been amazing. As the days went by, and we got closer and closer to the release of the game, we would get more screenshots showing off the new graphics, again, with very mixed results. Some of the screenshots for the Switch version looked particularly pretty bad. I understand that the Switch is not as powerful as the PlayStation 4/5 and Xbox One/Series X, but still, these are 3 remastered versions of 3 PlayStation 2 games. The Switch version could surely have better looking graphics than this. As it would turn out though, the graphics would only be the beginning. Things would get even worse. November 11th. The game was finally released to the world, and right off the bat, things were disastrous, particularly for PC users. You see, Rockstar has a service known as Rockstar Games Launcher, which is basically their equivalent to Steam. When the game dropped, the launcher went offline due to maintenance, which meant that PC users would not be able to play or even purchase the game. The maintenance lasted for around 28 hours, and even after the launcher went back up, the game would still be unavailable for PC users. It wouldn't be until November 14th, 3 whole days after the game's release, where it would finally be available. As if that wasn't enough, an error within the PlayStation Store allowed the PS4 and PS5 versions of the game to be available a day earlier, for people living in Australia and New Zealand. All of this felt like it was leading up to a disaster, and indeed, we got a disaster. The game was released, and it immediately received backlash from fans. For one thing, many of the character models not only looked terrible, but they also somehow looked worse than the original PS2 models. How do you even do that? The actual backgrounds and locations don't look too bad, but the character models, for the most part, look awful. You know, when you go to the App Store, and you look up GTA, and you get all of those fake knockoff GTA games? Yeah, that's what this definitive edition looks like. This game, which is an official product from Rockstar Games, somehow looks like those bootleg GTA games you would find on the App Store. Are you serious right now? As if that wasn't enough, all 3 games would be filled to the brim with glitches, and I mean filled to the brim with them. There are so many glitches, that I think it's best to show you a montage of all the glitches that this game has. If you wish to skip the montage, then go to this part of the video. With that said, let the montage begin.
I'm always crashing, CJ. We burning, fool!
The real cyberpunk experience. How's the view up there? What are you doing? I guess he's dead now. Oh, he was faking it. He's fine.
Okay, we just gotta find a sprunk machine that's nearby. I'll tell you what, chat. Let's do this. I can't overload. What the f? What have I done? What the f have I done? I broke the game! Did I sprunk it? Holy sh! Holy sh! What the f?
Yeah, I think you get the point by now. Some of you could look at the glitches that this game has, and think that this is a so bad it's good game. No, it's not. It might look like one to you, but to me, I see something completely different. This is not a so bad it's good game. Big Rigs Over the Road Racing is a so bad it's good game. Sonic 06 is a so bad it's good game. GTA the Trilogy the Defective Edition is disrespectful garbage. They took 3 masterpieces, 3 of the greatest video games ever made, and they made a complete and utter mockery out of all of them. They turned them into jokes. I was at a very low point in my life when this game came out, and I really wanted this game to help me get through that awful period of time in my life. But all it did was make me feel even worse than I already did. If I wasn't at a very low point in my life when this game came out, then maybe I would look at it as a so bad it's good game. But as it stands, I don't find the numerous glitches or the awful graphics to be very humorous. And just a reminder, they removed the original versions of the trilogy from digital retailers before this garbage came out. It's like they knew. They knew that these versions were absolutely awful, so they went and removed the good versions of the game, preventing anyone who bought the defective edition from playing the actually good versions of the trilogy. They did eventually bring back the original versions of the games though, and even made them available for free until June 30th, 2022 if you bought the defective edition of the trilogy. So at least this problem was resolved at the end. But still, they shouldn't have removed the original versions of the trilogy in the first place. Even if the defective edition actually turned out good, removing the original games would have still been an awful idea. It doesn't matter how good your video game remaster or remake turns out, because there will always be people out there that prefer the original version of the game. The fact that they removed the original versions should have been the first red flag that the game would turn out badly. Anyways, to the surprise of no one, the game would be panned by critics and fans alike. If you go onto Metacritic, you will see that every version of the game has been review bombed. and rightfully so. This was meant to be the fun surprise Rockstar would do for GTA 3's 20th anniversary. This was how they celebrated the 20th anniversary of the game that literally made them famous, the game that started a new genre of games, the game that's responsible for the existence of the two best-selling video games of all time, and arguably the two games that defined the 2010s decade, and this is how they treat it. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Unfortunately, I will have to end the video right here. I spent most of this video talking about the events that led up to the release of this dumpster fire, and I was only able to squeeze in a few of the problems that said dumpster fire had. In part 2, I will go into more detail about why this game is an atrocity, and why, as a GTA fan, I am personally insulted at its very existence. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to check out my other videos, and if you like my other videos, then maybe consider subscribing. It would be greatly appreciated. Until then, thank you everyone for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.